Hey, folks, and welcome to the 7-day conversion course. My name's Riley Bunce, and I'm the owner of Studio 909, a design agency focused on helping startups improve their conversion rate. This course, we're going to be turning your website into a conversion machine. To start off on day one, we have the landing page conversion killers. So you might be asking yourself, why does this matter? Here's a few key insights to help sway you to realize that this is extremely important stuff. Most landing pages have 3 to 5 fixable conversion killers. If you don't know what a landing page is, it's your home page. It's where people are going to land on your website to figure out what it is that you do, and it's where you want to convince them as fast as you can to buy your products before they leave. The average startup conversion rate is around 1.2% compared to industry leaders who hover around 4 to 6%. So even with a 4% conversion rate, 96% of your visitors are going to be leaving without converting. That's 96 people walking into your store, turning around, walking right out without buying a thing. 68% of visitors are leaving websites within 15 seconds due to confusion. And the last thing that I'll say here is that small changes can have huge impacts. What is the problem? Many websites lack the optimal strategy to convert web visitors into paying customers. Your website is a 24/7 salesperson, and most suck at selling. All right, so here we're going to look at some examples of websites, and I want you to form your own opinion on whether you think that they're good or that they're bad, and rate them based on what you think. All right, so now we're going to look at some of my own work, shameless plug, to see what the difference is between some of the poor design choices and better design choices. All right, so we're going to be diving into each of those examples a little bit deeper throughout the rest of this. But first, we need to establish the 4 conversion killer framework. The first killer would be confusing value props. The second killer would be missing trust signals and proof of concept or social proof. And the third would be weak call to actions. The fourth being mobile disasters. So we're going to break down each of these a little deeper. So the first killer, confusing value props. The problem with this one is that many websites have these kind of words that say nothing at all and don't really explain the company. Like, we love what we do, or we're super passionate, or it's time to evolve. A lot of them have these buzzwords, but don't really say anything about the company. An example here is revolutionary platform for digital transformation. What does that mean? It could mean so many things. It could apply to any company, and it leaves visitors confused. So the fix to this is to have outcome-focused value propositions. Get your first 100 customers in 30 days without ads. You're giving a clear timeline, 30 days, a specific outcome, and you're addressing a certain pain point. Expanding on this point a little bit, we're brought to the grandmother test. I want to make this super memorable for you. I found a picture of a nice old lady on Unsplash. Basically, what you want to do is think of showing your product to an old lady, or do it if you happen to have your grandma or mom around, or if you are an old lady, but get it to show to somebody who's maybe a little bit older, doesn't understand tech as well, and see if they can break it down. The idea is that you want it to be extremely clear, and that as soon as somebody lands on your website, they know what it is that you do, why you do it, and how you can solve their problem. Here's an example of a website that doesn't say anything. This is like the most confusing website, right? This is literally their landing page as soon as you go on their website. Compare that to a website design that I did. We make owning a golf simulator easy. Streamlined business management solutions for golf course scheduling, maintenance, and point of sales. So we're making it extremely easy for them to understand what it is that we do. Import and export custom vehicles in Canada. We're laying out exactly what we're doing, where it is, why it should concern them. We're going to break it down a little bit further in future videos, but for now, you get the basics. Moving on to the second one, missing trust signals. The problem is that homepages look like they were built yesterday with zero credibility. The trust signal hierarchy in order of impact would go customer logos, especially with recognizable brands like Forbes or Apple, testimonials with photos and full names, case studies with specific results, awards and certifications, social media follower counts, and as seen in media mentions. And then we're also going to talk about the concept of social proof. So social proof is the idea that other people have used the product before you or service, and they recommend it or they've had a positive experience. So you're not going into it blindly thinking, is this a legitimate company? Am I actually going to get the service that they're talking about? Proof stacking strategy is not relying on just one type of social proof, scattering social proof throughout your website from the top all the way through the middle where you have testimonials and stuff. And then at the bottom, you can have additional. So yeah, proof stacking strategy would be not relying on just one type of social proof, layering different types of trust signals throughout your website. Place the strongest at the top, but obviously sprinkling them throughout ideal. Use specific numbers and outcomes, say what's happened, and always include photos with testimonials. Use full names and companies when possible. Be as specific as you can. Lately, we've seen an increase in video testimonials, which has been shown to increase conversion rates by up to 52%. Obviously, newer and more recent testimonials or proof will perform better. So here's a couple examples of kind of websites before and after adding these social proof. This is just above the fold, right? So the first place you land on the website. Here we have Webflow certified partner, trusted by, and a bunch of different logos of other people we've worked with. All right, so for our second example, we have the website after we add that additional proof of concept and social proof. It looks a lot better. It looks more trustworthy and somebody that we're willing to buy from. The next killer is weak call to actions. As you can see, there's not really any call to action here. There are some that I noticed, but it's very hard to tell. Doing things like putting white space around your buttons can be super helpful, and the wording that you use, the colors. When we look at call to actions, a lot of websites have generic buttons like submit or learn more or click here, whereas a strong call to action includes an action, a benefit, and urgency. Get my revenue audit, clear action plus specific benefit. Start my 14-day trial, action plus benefit. As we'll see throughout the rest of the series, small things like this can have a huge impact on your overall conversion rate. All right, so here's another example. There's no call to action. This is the whole website above the fold, and we actually have to scroll down to get to their call to action, right? You want to have your call to action above the fold. The user should be able to see it as soon as they land and be able to click on it. Research has shown that can help improve clicks by up to 73%. Contrasting colors increase visibility, larger buttons, white space around, and then having certain language that entices them to click. Here's an example, free website audit, right? You're getting a benefit of free, and you also have the website audit. You know what it is that you're getting. So here's another example, watch a demo. Super clear placement, and you know what it is that you're going to be doing. There's also a lot of contrast that allows the button to stand out and make it the primary action that the user is motivated to click on. So moving on to our last point is mobile disasters. A lot of users nowadays are visiting websites on their mobile device. You probably are using your phone all day long, searching through, pulling up websites, and a lot of websites aren't designed well for mobile phones. Over 60% of traffic is mobile nowadays. This is extremely important. If your website looks like crap on your phone, up to 60% of your visitors are going to be leaving immediately. We have a couple examples of websites that are not optimized. They look like crap. You can't see the buttons. It leads the customer to end up leaving a lot faster, and this gets overlooked so often. Another thing to note is that due to this happening, there's a much lower mobile conversion rate. Most websites are designed desktop first and then mobile last. So common mobile mistakes are Things like having small buttons, text that you can't read, forms that are super long, painful to fill out, no autofill, things like that. Pop-ups that can't be closed, and slow loading times are such a killer, and it's extremely important to test this. Another thing that we touched on previously is thumb zone optimization, right? When you're holding your phone, it's a lot easier to click on the bottom than it is on the top. So primary buttons, the primary call to action should be located in a place that's easy to tap for the user. As you can see, that nav bar, it's in a place where you're gonna have to reach to actually get to. So that it's not as important. So it can be further away. Avoid placing important buttons in hard to reach areas. Sites with mobile optimized design see 67% higher conversion rates, and a page load time increase of 1 second reduces conversions by 70%. 53% of mobile users abandon sites that take longer than 3 seconds to load. So you only have 3 seconds to capture their attention, and within a blink of the eye, they're going to judge your website and decide if you're trustworthy or not. All of this compounds to extremely important incremental changes that you can make to your website to increase the amount of people who are buying from you. So some common questions are, what if I don't have testimonials yet? Use your own credentials from your background, whatever it is that you've done. Use case studies from previous companies if you can. Beta user feedback, or even personal guarantees, right? For my business, I guarantee a increase in your conversion rate, or I'll give you a refund. That's how confident I am. And so that's the kind of guarantee that you want to be able to back your offer with. Should mobile and desktop have different value propositions? No, they should have the exact same messaging. It should be very clear, but mobile may need to remove things. Some stats or things might not fit. We might need to remove those. But again, we want to have it be super consistent across your desktop and your mobile device to feel like the same brand and have the same offer and messaging. How many call to actions should I have per page? You should have one primary call to action. We see this a lot with people who have made their own websites or newer designers. It's important to guide the user to one specific action. We want to get them to book that call or schedule that appointment with you, or try your product, start that trial. By having one key call to action in a primary color, you're able to ensure that their attention is going to that one key point, that one key area that you want them to click on. So yeah, that's it for day one. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We're going to break down those 4 key insights over the next few videos. But first, we're going to do an audit that explains how you can find these issues within your website and provide quick, actionable tips on how you can make improvements to convert better. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.